He's your co-host, Ezyduhzit, your favorite trucker's favorite trucker. What's up with it, bro?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man? It's another day. It's a little rainy in Dallas. I'm home right now, man. I got a chance to barbecue yesterday, but today it was hectic. I stayed
Yeah,
in bed most of the day.
I didn't know it was gonna be like this.
Yeah,
It was a
man.
good day yesterday. I should have barbecued yesterday.
Man, why you had the chance, bro? Why you
Yeah,
had the chance, bro?
this is crazy.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what's your day been like?
Man, my day been smooth, bro. I ain't did nothing today. I'm gonna pick back up work tomorrow, you know what I'm saying, get back moving and shaking, but today I ain't did a whole lot of nothing, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've been chilling. What about you, dog? You just got off work or you was off today or what? What you got going on?
Now I went in today, but only for a few hours, and then I got off once it really started raining and all of that. So it got kind of crazy, and I didn't want to
Yeah.
get stuck in that traffic.
Man, because
Yeah,
Dallas traffic is bad enough, much less any
man,
type of weather. Any type of
traffic
weather,
crazy.
it gets hectic, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't used to be like that on the weekends. Like the weekends used to be when all the roads were clear, but now shit, it don't matter what day it is.
It don't
Saturday,
matter what
Sunday,
day it
it's
is.
traffic every day.
Even
It's
on
crazy.
Sundays, I'm talking about Sunday in the middle of the day is traffic, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, let's get to this first segment. Some news you can use.
All right.
Uh Drewski, your boy Drewski is in the headlines, bro. He getting backlash for playing whiteface. He dressed up
Right,
as a
yeah.
white boy. He dressed up as a white boy in the hood. But the problem everyone is having is that he went out and actually painted himself white. Uh, there have been mixed reactions with white people saying, I got some of the reactions too. This it's kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
they say,
Okay.
so blackface is a no, but whiteface is cool. That was one of them.
Okay.
Are we doing whiteface now with no repercussions? Another one
Okay.
said, y'all get mad when the white folks do blackface, but you shouldn't be
Right.
doing whiteface. You N-words shouldn't be doing whiteface. This from a black dude, so you know how to.
Right.
Uh,
Okay. Oh, that's from a black dude. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Why is
Okay.
whiteface accepted but blackface make people screech and riot? Uh, then somebody said this ain't whiteface. What if Theo Vaughn did this in reverse? Would it still have the same positive responses? So they was kind of on Drewski ass. But a lot of
They
the
in that
black
feeling.
people were saying that there's no racial history behind it, and that's the difference. What do you think about
Right.
that whole
Uh,
situation?
I think they 100% right. There's no racial history. There's no racial inadequacies behind whiteface. First of all, what has been the repercussion for blackface exactly? Remind me. I don't believe there's ever been any big.
It was
People get mad and talk about it for a little while, but nothing actually happens. Matter of fact, didn't Robert Downey Jr. play a whole black person in a movie? Was it
Tropical
Tropic Thunder
Thunder.
or Death? Yeah, in that one, it was actually pretty good. I think
It was funny. You know,
it was a good motherfucking movie. So, at this point, I feel like if you still pushing the whole, first of all, even from the stance the of somebody doing quote unquote whiteface, when has that ever been a such thing? And you know what I'm saying, as far as it being triggering.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I think this is just more of a tit for tat thing, like just looking for a reason to be mad type shit. Um, I think, yeah, on the one hand, yeah, we get mad over blackface because of the racial background that come with it. But is that a double standard if black people do whiteface and don't expect the backlash? I mean, okay, come with the backlash, but okay, you can say whatever you want. But past whatever you're talking about, who gives a fuck for real?
I mean, he really didn't even look like a white boy. When you looked at it, when you see the video, he looked like a damn albino or something.
Yeah,
Uh, but like you
yeah,
said, it's no racial history behind it. It was a skit, and it was, you know what I'm saying, that funny. What it is to me is that people try to use anything they can as an excuse to see why this, why that, just like with us
Right.
saying nigga. And then they sit back and say,
Yeah.
well, why we can't say? Why would you want to? So I
Right.
mean, you know what I'm saying? So this to
Yeah.
me, I
Yeah.
don't think he didn't do it in a racial thing. It was actually funny. It was sort of like some
Yeah, bro.
tropical thunder type shit.
Yeah, bro. When it comes to stuff like that, man, some damn black dude playing whiteface, like again, I just think those people who look to keep shit going. We got every demographic of people got a sector of that demographic that just love to keep shit going. Little dumb shit. Get pissed
Yeah.
off over the littlest shit, the smallest shit. So yeah, I don't pay no mind to that. I don't pay no attention to that. I think they'll get over it. I think it's gonna be funny. Whoever want to talk shit about it gonna talk shit. Whoever like it gonna like it. I
Hell,
mean,
it
I
had
think
2.1 million views on TikTok, so I'm pretty sure somebody
exactly,
liked it.
exactly. The controversy is gonna bring the success anyway. So who gives a fuck who mad about it? He didn't hurt nobody. He didn't hurt nobody,
Yeah.
right? So at that point, who gives a fuck? Donald
And
Trump just
the
brought a
thing
whole
is,
bunch of
there
stuff
are
out.
actually white boys that are like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they are actually exactly like he portrayed in the skit.
For real, for real, for real.
I thought it was
Like
funny.
we,
Honestly,
like
man.
we, people get so wound up about little silly shit like that. But especially, man, and I hate to just always single them out, but white people, bro, they do some of the most fucked up shit, and then they turn around. They are the epitome of throwing rocks and hiding your hands. They
Oh
got it
man.
bad, bro. They'll do the worst
Uh
shit, and then turn around and say, "Oh, you can't do us like that." Like, what do you mean? So I don't know.
yeah, I agree. I think that like I said, it's just another way for them to try to point a finger and take some blame off of themselves. See, black
Yeah.
because one comment said so Drewski can do whiteface, but Drake can't do blackface. Well, first of all, Drake ain't American.
First of
Drake,
all, technically, and
we,
he's half black, so
he is.
actually, like half black people get away with that. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, he had black. Hello,
He
where you
half black,
from? Canberk Yilmaz. Where you from?
right?
Uh,
I don't know.
but yeah, which
Yeah,
brings me
yeah,
to
man.
my next question, bro. Because this has also been trending online too, and it's about do you think black people can be racist?
No. So okay, no. The definition, like I was just having this debate back and forth with somebody not long ago. Like, and the fact that we still have to have this conversation, but racism involves using your resources and your power in order to purposefully, you know what I'm saying, put boundaries up against a group of people solely because they are that group of people. Like, black Americans don't have the resources at hand to be racist. We can be what's the word?
Prejudice.
We can be very prejudiced. Anybody can be prejudiced, but only a certain demographic of people can be actually racist. So no, I don't think black people are in a position to be racist. Um, I think um, as far as being prejudiced, though, if that's what you technically mean, or if that's what people kind of more so, because that's what people say. They say racism, but they mean prejudice. Uh, yeah, everybody's prejudiced. Everybody's prejudiced, bro, to some degree.
To some degree,
And
yeah.
everybody,
To a
it's
certain
somebody that
extent.
there's a demographic of people. There's a group of people that you dislike solely because they are that people, or they tend to have a certain uh, stigma about them that you dislike about a group of people. So everybody has those, you know, those moments.
Yeah.
Long as you ain't doing nothing to nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't get to act that shit out. You can feel however you want to feel. Just keep that shit to yourself.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
That's how I feel.
I don't know. That's kind of it's I feel the same way. I don't think as far as being complete like racist because I can't see like you say we don't have the resources to complete that. And that's the difference. But as
Right.
far as prejudice, oh hell yeah. Hey, my granny was prejudiced as a motherfucker. She used to
Man,
tell-
them old
she,
school black people was the most prejudiced
hell yeah.
motherfuckers in
She
the
told me I could bring
world.
any woman in her house, but never bring a white woman. I was like, damn.
Bet not. You bet not. And they was very
Yeah,
specific with that.
they didn't play
Bet
that shit
not
back then.
at
Nah,
all.
it was
Oh
just
yeah,
different though.
yeah, yeah. It was just different times back then.
It's
So
different.
yeah, everybody can be prejudiced. Everybody can, act however they want to act, but and feel however they want to feel. Like I think that's a big difference, a big misconception with everything. Is like you can feel however you want to feel. Just you don't get to act on none of that shit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Keep that shit to yourself, and you can even say whatever you want to say. I feel like you should be able to say it to whoever. Like if you don't like this group of people, you can say that shit, and you, you don't know, it shouldn't automatically end in a physical altercation. Just keep your hands to yourself, and vice versa. Just because somebody say that they don't like your group of people, don't mean you get to crash out and get to do silly shit.
right. That's true.
So
But some people
yeah,
go too far with it, and then
yeah,
you know how that goes.
right, right. That'd be the problem. Like you can't be with all the extra stuff, bro. You gotta maintain that self control. Man, I heard this one thing. This dude was saying like the average mental age of an American is like 12 to 13 years old.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that just kind of speaks to the inability to separate. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you feeling from shit that whatever you want to do, or you know what I'm saying, facts or whatever. Like people are unable to separate, certain shit. And yeah, overall, bro, I've noticed that a lot of people are just still very childish in the mind. So
yeah,
when they get amped up about something, they got to go do something to somebody because they feel it, and
yeah,
that's a big problem. That's the only problem for real that we really got in regards to any type of issue with any group of people. You know what I'm saying? Any issue. You can say what you want, you can, think what you want, feel what you want, whatever, but keep your hands and keep, you don't get to act out on these things. So
right,
yeah, as long as we can keep it to that, everything will be cool. You don't
right.
have to like this person, because they black, or that person because they gay, or that person because they fat, or whatever the case. If you want to say it, say it. But just you don't get to do nothing else.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, a young lady, a former high school honor student who says she can't read, graduated with honors. Hold on, check this out. This is a weird story. A Connecticut college student is suing the Hartford Board of Education and the city of Hartford for negligence. 19-year-old Alicia Ortiz says she graduated from high school with honors and earned a college scholarship, but she can't read or write.
Right.
19-year-old began her freshman year at the University of Connecticut in Hartford this past fall. Now, to me, this sounds like they was just passing them along, and
Yeah.
it was some going
Um.
on that I mean, ain't no telling what this is, but it's some sneaky shit going on in this district.
Well, well, I actually went. Actually went and did some research on that story in particular. And when I seen like two interviews with this young lady, and I see it from two different ways, right? Like I understand how she got through all of this. So basically, what she was doing was she can't understand English, she can't read or write, but what she did was she would take whatever homework and she would use like the Chat GPT or whatever
Translated.
like that and kind of translate and write her answers for her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I mean. And so from a teacher's standpoint, if you're given the work and they turning it in properly and everything is cool, now should you be able to notice this inside of a classroom? Absolutely.
That's the
But
problem.
right, but we all know where school came from, what school was meant to do.
Now
This
it's a lot of people that don't. So tell them what it is. What school was
man,
really
school was created, literally created to build and mold young people into factory workers. Who is that? Was it Ford or Rockefeller? One of them.
Ford, I
I know
believe.
you did a video on it,
I
I
think it was
believe.
Ford.
And I seen some others. So yeah, Ford started the the typical 40-hour a week work week, Monday through Friday.
Yeah,
Henry Ford started that
yeah,
with the car line. And so they created school, period. The idea of school is to create and cultivate factory workers. It's either factory workers or prison. The United States needs both of those, and that's what school is for. So I don't know what people are. I don't see. This is not shocking at all. Especially like I've been knowing like people been kind of cheating and going on the internet and finding answers to quizzes and
you know
stuff
that's
like
what's so
that for
crazy. They
long
got that
time.
they if I lived in this time with all this technology and resources at my hand, there's no way I couldn't pass with
You know what I'm saying?
4.0
Especially when you
GPA.
left to your own devices. Like, come on
Yes.
now. Like,
We had 7 books for 7 classes when we was growing up. You know what I'm saying?
you know
Like,
what I'm saying? Like, and we had actual book work paper. Like, we had to turn in.
yeah,
We
we
had to
had to do
do this
homework and
stuff
everything.
like at the school. Like, it wasn't no hardly online nothing when we was in school. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, the teacher called you out in the middle of class to answer questions, like to read out loud, and then somebody else had to answer the question that you had. Like, come on, like it's. I think it's different now anyway, but yeah, it's just more of the same, bro. That's what it was built for. So of course, a 19-year-old who can type in, and get all the answers and the translations through her cell phone. Her mom don't know English,
Right.
so of course, everything has to go through her. So none of her report cards are getting home. Her mama don't know, probably don't care nothing about the report cards. They just kind of feeling relieved to be in America and be, living a certain lifestyle. So uh, I think the school dropped the ball, but that's kind of what the school is built for that,
That's what it's
low key.
designed to do. That's why they came with that whole no kid left behind shit. That's
Exactly. We all know everybody was in school with a couple people that we knew they wasn't supposed to be in no high school, nothing, about to graduate shit. But you know
right.
what I'm saying? They end up graduating and getting on out of there anyway. So, that been the case. Now, because this girl got into college and got honors and all that, because she cheated, you know what I'm saying? That's different. I don't think you can fully blame the school because she was cheating.
Yeah.
They was gonna let her use translation tools if she's struggling with understanding. So if she used those tools to her advantage and did all the work that way, I mean, yeah, the school got some culpability in that, but I think it's
Yeah, because how is it that
on cheating.
she could go through all these classes and nobody noticed that she couldn't read? They never had her read out loud, not one time.
She from South America. They not gonna pick on her to do that
You
anyway,
got to call out
because that could
everybody in
be
the
looked at,
classroom.
but that can be looked at as picking on her because they know she don't know English very well. So if you do that, that's a slippery slope too, though.
Not
You
really,
know what I'm
because
saying?
that's everybody in the classroom. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see if you was just constantly calling on her all the time, but at some
Right, right,
point called on her to see. You know what I'm saying? Like what are her capabilities? Nobody ever
right,
did that. Like
right.
nobody.
You're right, bro. You're right. You're right. So they definitely dropped the ball on in that aspect. Yeah, yeah.
So that let
But
me ask you this then.
yeah,
How or do you feel as if the educational system has failed black people, or is it more of the parents that have failed their kids?
again, the educational system is doing what it's designed to do.
Yeah.
So is it failing black people? Yes, because it was meant to do that. It was literally built to do that. So yes, it is. It's failing black people. Black people have failed their children and the youth by depending on this educational system, knowing what they know about
Yeah.
they went. The parents went through the same educational system, and because I guess it's just the norm,
Yeah.
or whatever the case is, they just keep sending their kids to these schools. And so, low key, I'm really glad. Like people are upset with Donald Trump for the whole um um
Getting rid of the Department of Education.
Department of Education. Yeah, I wouldn't say Board of Education, but Department of Education. But look how long black people have been complaining about the schools and how the schools are ran and all of this.
But this is the
What do
thing
you
that a lot of people don't realize either. The Department of Education is just the middleman. The Department
right?
of Agriculture is who all the money come from anyway. So if you
Yeah.
take the middleman out, I believe wouldn't more of the money go to the state? You would think
Well,
instead of that cut that the DOE is taking when they get their little cut in the middle.
the only the only issue with that, bro, and this is only because I know a few teachers who kind of have the inner understandings of it. So the only issue with that is that then the state gets to decide where that money goes, and then like things like special education and stuff like that may fall, especially in certain areas. Our areas is definitely gonna fall by the wayside.
What's the difference
So
now?
federally, there's certain standards that they have to meet federally, or they'll be, or the local or state schools or whatever be in trouble. So for that reason, for that one reason, I understand the need for it. But overall, it's
The
still not
So
meant
with
for
those
black people
laws
to do
federally
well.
change just because the department and really they not getting rid of it. They just spreading it out to different departments is what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I mean, so yeah, I mean, that's the only, because again, I've looked into it and heard a lot about it. So that's the only thing I've really heard that's any benefit is like the special needs and certain particular areas that needs X amount of funding. The state doesn't get to dictate that. It's federal. So if you don't do what's if you don't spread it out more evenly, then the federal government can get involved and shit like that, maybe. So, but as a people, we need to get focused on educating our own children.
that's what the
Period.
that's
Anyway,
what the whole plan of it is. That's why he's paying you to as the same amount
yeah,
as teachers. He's paying you to take care of your own kids. And to be
yeah.
honest, I don't
I,
know why we ever stopped that and started completely depending on the school system in the first place.
we just explained it because at the same time, it's all been a plot and a plan, bro.
Because
The
everybody
same
was
time,
told the same thing growing up. You can go to school, get good grades, you go to college, you get a good job. And half the motherfuckers that went to college
right?
they don't even get a job in the field that they graduated in.
And the field that they got a diploma
Yeah,
in, yeah, got a degree in. So, man, it's been a kind of a plot and a plan to begin with, bro. The same time they introduced the structured school system and all that, is the same time parents had to go work double and triple time. So the school had to depend on the school because now you had to work more.
yeah,
And now both and now that's when school really started being a big deal, like after the world wars and stuff like that, especially like they started really pushing um the whole women working thing, that whole women movement. So women weren't even at home taking care of their own kids no more. So of course now for sure, you have to depend on the school system more. And it's been a plot and a plan ever since the jump, bro.
yeah,
Like the more we can get the men out the house,
yeah.
welfare, the more we can get the women out the house working because the welfare barely covers shit. The more the kids got to depend on school, and we gonna just run them through this ring. You either gonna be a factory worker or you gonna go to jail. Either way, the state and the federal government is eating off of it.
Gonna benefit regardless.
Yeah, yeah.
So how do we fix that as parents?
we have to build our community back up. Cause Kane said he was a latchkey kid. I was too. I got a key. Here's
Oh
this
yeah,
key.
yeah.
Don't you lose this
What?
key. Don't you do this.
What?
Don't you do that. You know what I'm saying? You get in here,
Hell
your footprint's
no.
in the refrigerator. Yeah, all that. So
Yeah.
we got the only way we can fix it is by building our community back up. I was just talking to one of my close friends about, starting with the whole Department of Education thing, starting our own school or learning program and stuff like that. Like homeschool, like all you got to do as a people, really, like find you about 20, 30 people that you know kids go to school, right? Or even less than that, really. But start paying this person that you know is a teacher to keep your kids like a certain age group, because if you in a focused classroom, like they got like 10, maybe 15 kids, you can teach maybe anything from the first to fifth grade in that little group. You just focus in on each individual kid as needed.
Yeah.
Um, so and start paying that person to do that for your kids, and I think that's how you beat the typical education route. You got to find people who are passionate about educating children already.
Mm-hmm.
Start merging that with these daycares and shit like that, and start really, you know what I'm saying, pushing the homeschool education motto. You know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
kind of that way you can focus in on what your child needs help with the most and what they thrive in the most, and start focusing in on those things. That's what I think the private schools do in those suburban neighborhoods. They are just more focused on what the children are good at. They help them with what they not good at, and then they super focused on what they are good at, and
Right.
then that's how they become successful.
Yep.
You can't depend on the public education system to build your kids into strong, leaders in society. That's not what it's built for.
Right.
So we got to get past that. We got to get past that whole idea that just because somebody said it's supposed to be for the greater good, that they really mean it. Black people got that bad. You know what I'm saying? We got that
Yes.
bad. We think because they said it, that they supposed to mean it. No, bro, that's not what that go. That no. We got to
I
stop
agree.
doing that. We trust
I
we
agree.
trust this government. It's weird. Like we know better than to trust the government because we tell each other we have this information, but then
We go out and still do the
we
opposite of what we say.
we just let the shit happen. We just do the regular shit any damn way.
And
So
then the
yeah, we gotta
government
be.
continue to do what it's doing because they know all we're gonna do is post or either march, and that ain't gonna
All
do a
we gonna
damn
do is talk
thing.
shit. All we gonna do is talk shit about it. So yeah, bro. We gotta be more focused, and I'm gonna start. Really trying to put that bug in people's ears. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you
Yeah.
see what's going. Even if we got to use the same scare tactics and depend on our people not to be informed, we got to use that for the right reason.
Right.
Like, start telling these people, hey, you see what's going on with, XYZ Department of Education, even though it may not actually affect them in that way. Do it anyway. My light keep going out. Hold on, I got to back up this time though. They ain't gonna can't keep me down, man.
Yeah, I agree though. I think that we need to start pushing more for teaching our own ourselves because that's the only way we're gonna
Right.
teach them exactly what they need to know as far as life surviving skills. You know what I'm saying? Because
Exactly.
they took
Exactly.
all that away. The trades, they took away everything that we needed for survival that we could use with our hands. Home ec,
Yeah.
all of that. We used to have
Yep.
all of that when we was in school, but now it's not the same. They don't want these kids learning how to use their hands, except
Not
for
at all.
playing
Not at
video
all.
games or something like that.
So that's yeah, and we got to get our kids back super focused on trade,
Yes,
electrical, plumbing,
that's what. Yeah,
carpentry. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like we
That's
gotta we
that's
gotta
that's what's
start
needed now.
right. We gotta start super pushing trades. Like college is cool for certain aspects. If you want to be a fucking astrophysicist or some shit like that, go for it. Absolutely. But if you know what I'm saying, if you're not even sure what you want to do, Don't go to college and end up running up your debt. Find a trade. You know, any trade school, you probably gonna spend a couple thousand, 5, 10, something like that. But it ain't gonna be 50, 60, 70, 100 as you
Right.
gonna, with a regular
It'll be
school.
something you can work with paying back.
It's manageable, and you have a trade that's gonna probably run you about 70, 80. Because most trades are gonna run you about 70, 80, 100K a year if you work in it. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, man, we gotta use the information that we have. We got all the information in the world now, but we gotta use it and really start pushing that envelope. We gotta start pushing each other, pushing each other. Like if you know somebody with who who want to get into this type of stuff, push them to do it. You gotta
Right.
push their hand a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, set some deadlines if they want to get into it. Like, be that accountability partner. We like again, it all boils down to community. We gotta start getting back to that. Hold
Yeah.
each other accountable. You know what I'm saying? Push somebody else's dream. Why not? Especially if it benefits everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we just we
That,
just
but
gotta
that's
start
the
getting the
thing.
fuck about
We
it.
gotta start. We gotta get into the mentality that it's okay to push somebody else, even if it don't benefit us. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
that's the problem that we have run into the in the black community here recently.
yeah,
Let me
yeah.
get your thoughts on this. A Texas state representative is pushing for race-based classroom assignments, claiming students perform better when taught by teachers who share their same skin color. So basically, she's saying it's a black lady, and she's saying that black students would perform better if they were taught by black teachers. Do you think that would make a difference?
I think this is a cultural question versus a just basic racial question, ethnicity question. You know what I'm saying? I think this is a culturally, yes. I think that's a better idea. Um, I don't racially, ethnicity wise, maybe a little bit, but I think that's going too far backwards. We have a history of that already, and I think that's a slippery slope with that type of shit. So no, no, because what you learn from a different demographic. Now, do I feel like 90% of teachers should be young white women? No, sorry. They tend to not be able to handle young black boys and girls too well with their ability to cope with stress, maybe because for
So
whatever reason.
then, basically, you saying she's right to a certain extent.
Well, no, because I don't think there would be anything wrong with more white male teachers.
I
I
think
think,
that's what it boils down to. I think there needs to be more male teachers.
yeah, more than anything, I would say that for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think
I think so.
it's based on race because you have some good teachers on all colors, from all colors,
Yeah,
from all races.
right.
So I don't think it's
Yeah,
that, but I think
yeah,
we do tend to learn a little better from those that look like us in a certain extent because I'm just go off my own experience. I was in a lot of the advanced classes and stuff in school, right? And so I had this one incident where this teacher, she was a white teacher, and it was an English class. I never forget it. She was like reading out all the grades and everybody what they scored on the test. Well, she
yeah,
read mine out like I done scored like this low grade, like a C or something like that. But then when we go over the test, the one she had marked wrong, they was actually right. So I go back up there too, and I tell her, I'm like, I actually had these right. And I apologize, this, and that, then corrected it on the paper. But she didn't read it out loud. She didn't tell the class that she corrected it. And then she was
right,
wrong. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And so to
right.
me, I've had several experiences like that I dealt with because a lot of my classes, I was the only black person in a lot of the classes. So
Yeah,
I've seen it from both sides. Now I've had some teachers that were really good that were white. It didn't really matter. Growing up, I
yeah,
only had like three black teachers. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. I
but it
think it's a
was
culture
different
thing,
in
bro.
their classrooms to be honest with you. But I think that's what it boils down to. It's just that the black teachers kind of have a better understanding of what they're dealing with the students,
Well,
in
first
my
you got to
opinion.
give up. Like it sounded like that teacher that you was dealing with was just a shitty person. Period. And you're gonna have those in any job field, anything.
I think he done cut out. Look like we might have lost him now. Bro, you done froze up? Look like his phone done froze up. But what do y'all think, chat? Y'all think the educational system is working as planned or is it failing us? I see you say, Kane, you say we need to start teaching our own. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's what it boils down to is the parents. Parents need to take more initiative and start teaching their own kids, especially, in these times with what we need to know. Uh, yeah, I think he done shut off. But I just feel like we depended too much on the educational system, and that was our downfall. That was our problem. We thought that it was there for us and it was going to benefit us in some kind of way, and it never actually did. But hold on, I think this is. I don't know what has happened here. Give me a second, and he's trying to tap back in. Hold on. There you go.
Yeah, man, my phone didn't overheated, bro. Everything is going left right now, bro. It's crazy.
But yeah,
I
I
think
just it should be good. Yeah, you're gonna have to get one of those things. I had to get a cooler for the back of my phone because the software, yeah, it makes it overheat.
it running hot. Okay, yeah. I think I'm good though. Yeah, I'm good.
But yeah, I agree, bro. I think we just depended too much, especially around our time, because that's what our parents was pushing. That's what our grandparents was pushing so hard was
Right.
going to school,
That's
and
all they knew.
that's all they
That's
knew.
him.
And so
Yeah,
they kind of taught us that exact same way, and we thought that was the way to go. Half of
right.
us ended up in debt from going to college and shit.
For real. Yeah, yeah. That student loan shit, bro. That's slavery within itself. Seem like.
It was. It is. I mean, it was a new what the reason why they came with that because they saw how we were still at first black people wasn't going to college. We just depended on trades,
Right.
but we were still successful as a
Right.
community. So they said, "Oh no,
Right.
we ain't letting them in college, but they still coming up with Black Wall Streets and shit." So nah,
Uh huh.
they took away
Yep. They
that.
took the trade. Yeah. They took away the trade and they started outsourcing it everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you
Yep.
remember we had trade schools. When we were
Yeah.
coming up, there was trade schools. You could still go to school for a specific trade if you didn't want to go to college. Do they even still
Right.
have those? You don't even
Man,
see commercials for them no more.
I don't know too many. I think it might be one up in I think it's called like Job Corps, ain't it? Is Job
They
Corps
still got Job Corps?
I
Hell, it
think
wasn't shit back then.
yeah,
Yeah, I know
I think Job
everybody that
Corps
went to
might still
Job
be
Corps.
around.
Shit, they ended up hustling or doing something.
Right,
The
right. So I
job,
think
yeah.
nothing else going on other than that. Other than that, yeah. It's like you gotta like get on with a job in order to and be trained or something like that. Or I mean, you got like certain ones in like the community colleges and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You get your but it's not nearly as accessible. It's not in high school. If you learning this in high school, as soon as you graduate, you in the money. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? With no debt. So we need to start doing that. We can even in our community. Same thing I was talking about as far as um getting these teachers together and teaching our the young kids. Get some of these dudes out here who is certified in auto mechanics or HVAC or whatever it is, and teach a class once or twice a week. Do something like that and get these people on, or kind of get them, find a way to I don't know, to give them a path to that type of job field or something like that. Like start making sure they get out that information on how to do it. So something we got to start doing
Right.
something.
Right. I agree.
That before a job is about to get real bad, bro.
Yeah. I've been seeing the effects of all of that. I've been talking to different people like that's looking for jobs, and right now it's slow,
Nothing. Yeah.
slow. But I think that's gonna pick up in the next year or two.
Maybe. I think
Uh,
the more so the industry I think is just shifted. But everything is gonna be more local. More local, smaller businesses are gonna grow. So
yeah,
I've been encouraging everybody, if you can find any small business idea you got, start
yeah.
pushing in that.
You're gonna start now because it's gonna be a time for it here coming soon. Especially
Yeah,
with the stock market. If you buying low right now, and everything is, I would be buying right now
right.
because in the next year or so, you're gonna be thankful that you started buying.
Yeah.
Uh, Next topic: group of all white men called the Patriot Front marched through Kansas City, your city. Uh,
Yeah.
members of the members of the white nationalist group Patriot Front was seen marching through parts of Kansas City over the weekend. Video from witnesses captured nearly 100 masked men emerging from cargo holds of three box trucks, which were U-Hauls. So U-Haul issued a statement saying that they violated the U-Haul policy. And they so it says the group designated as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center has a history of using U-Haul vehicles to transport members. U-Haul confirmed the trucks were used. The trucks used were rented in Kansas City and stated it has revoked the rental privileges of the individuals involved.
Are they gonna out the individual who did it though?
No, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. But
I, go ahead.
let me see. It used trucks. Let's see. This is not the first time Patriot Front has used U-Haul trucks in demonstrations. Um, the group marched again in Nashville in 2023. So they. But this is the thing about this group. This is what they never show their faces, and they walk around thinking that they are really going to get provoke black people. You know what I'm saying? And that's what trips me out about this whole situation. But being that it was in Kansas City, and I think it was during like something for Memorial Day that they had visited. What do you
Oh,
what do you what do you think
yeah.
about that? How
I
do you
think
feel
I
about
feel
these dudes? I believe they the feds. In my personal,
I think they the police, bro. I think
yeah,
they the police. Because
they,
first of all, if you label it as a hate group, how do you get to march and protest freely like that?
now
You
let
know what I'm
let
saying?
let 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 that be the Black Panthers.
You know what I'm saying? Like no other. So I think most of them, and Kansas City got like a FBI headquarters there. So I really feel like that's all it is. Like
The rest will say they weirdos. Yeah, that I mean
hella weirdo.
that's a bunch of
Hell,
those the dudes right there that you see on Twitter and sites like that with the fake accounts and then they talking saying the N-word and talking about black people. Those the same dudes that you'll
yeah,
see making those fake accounts doing that type of
yeah,
shit. Because they
yeah,
cowards.
yeah. So man, I don't give a fuck about no shit like that. I don't think nobody in the hood or for real. I
This,
think
this
there's a certain demographic of black people who care about shit like that. That
bro,
who Roland Martin is.
yeah,
That wannabe upper echelon of black people who super democratic, who go, who still all
yeah.
in on the comment. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain demographic who care about shit like that, but nobody I know give a fuck about no shit like that. I don't give a
This
fuck
is the
that you went
thing, man.
that
This
you
the
went
thing.
down
This
there, bro.
this is not the 60s and the 70s. Like
They
you're
didn't
not
hey,
gonna
they didn't march down Prospect. Anybody from Kansas City, they didn't march down Prospect. Everybody know, yeah, they didn't march, so we don't give a fuck about that.
they ain't gonna do it. No, this is my thing. If they were really trying to start something, why not show your faces? Show who you really are.
Because they work, they can't do that because they probably doctors and
Your
like
neighbors
I
and
said,
shit like
FBI
that.
agents
The
and
chief of
yeah,
police,
all
a
that. They probably
judge on the
yeah,
bench. Yeah,
yeah,
all of that.
judges, all that. Yeah.
Doctors.
That's why they can't ever show their face.
But they don't understand that black people today, you getting together and marching and saying white power and doing that shit don't matter in 2025. Don't nobody really give a damn about saying that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like, because you're not causing any harm to anybody. Back
right,
then, that used to cause a ruckus, you know what I'm saying,
right.
cause chaos and all that shit. But that shows you that the government still operates in that type of mentality and they don't understand what a black community is today. That's the reason why I believe the Democrats lost the party that they lost. And I don't like to talk politics, but
Yeah,
just saying.
yeah. I mean, on the surface level, I 100% agree with you. But something in me make me want to believe that they a little smarter than that, and that it's something else to it. I don't know what. I can't put my finger on what. I'm not even about to fake like I got it figured out. But I feel like it's something else to little shit like that. I think I don't know. I don't know, but I think it's
It's to
something a
keep the
little.
division. I mean, it's all about division and you know what I'm saying?
But
To
that type
spark
of
the
shit is so. It's so.
outdated.
You know what I'm saying? That can't be the still the
But
goal.
that's the whole because it works. Usually racism sparks that type of chaos. But now it really don't because for one, you have more white people that's like they don't want to be associated with it than you did back then.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
believe that's the one thing that's killing a little, movement from the start is because it's not as many white people that want to be involved in that anymore. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And
right,
two, the black people today, half of them got people in their family that's white or got white friends, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so
right. Yeah, yeah.
they're not really caring about that unless it's direct, unless it's something that's directly affecting them. But other than that,
That shit
we
just dead, bro.
yeah.
That shit
So that's
dead.
why every 4 years, if you notice, every 4 years, every time there's an election, there'll be a major police killing of a black person to spark those emotions. I went and looked
Damn.
it up. It tripped me out. Every single election, every 4 years, there's a killing of the police
It
officer
don't
killing
shock
a
me
black
though.
person.
It don't shock me at all though.
Same patterns. They've been
It,
doing the same shit. I don't think they're ever they feel like it's gonna always work.
well, it's up to us to make it not work. You know what I'm saying? It's up to us to figure that shit out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they would have
you know
got
what's
beat the
up?
fuck up walking out
They
prospect.
got they would have got their ass slaughtered going down Prospect. So they
Yeah,
know where not to go because if it would have kicked off, they would have got exposed for who they are. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, they, I, yeah, I think that all that shit is silly, bro. I don't at this point, black people, whoever tapped into this type of shit, bro, don't be distracted by no silly shit like that.
yeah, because it ain't even important anymore.
Right?
We got to
Yeah,
figure out.
that's a whole waste of time, bro.
Yeah,
That's a big waste of time.
I had this person send this to me on Instagram. I be having people send me all kind of stuff now for some reason, but and I
Okay.
I read some of it but it was the origin of Memorial Day. Did you know? Do you know the origin of it?
The origin of Memorial Day.
Uh, it traces back to 1865 when freed slaves started a tradition to honor fallen Union soldiers and to celebrate emancipation and commemorate those who died for their cause. I didn't know it was started by freed slaves. In
Yeah, hell no.
1865, Black people in Charleston, South Carolina, held a series of memorials and rituals to honor unnamed fallen Union soldiers and celebrate the struggle against slavery. One of the largest memorials took place on May 1st, 1865. As the Civil War ended, Confederates had converted the city's Washington Race Course and Jockey Club into an outdoor prison. Union captives were kept in horrid conditions, and at least 257 died of disease and were quickly buried in a mass grave behind the gravestand. This is
Damn.
crazy. After the
Yep.
Confederate evacuation at Charleston, black workmen went to the mass grave site, reburied the Union dead properly, and built a high fence around the cemetery.
Yeah.
They whitewashed the fence and built an archway over an entrance on which they inscribed the words "Martyrs of the Race Course." Let's see.
Damn.
This is the first. It was in the Charleston Daily News where it talked about the ceremonies of the dedication of the ground where they are buried 257 Union soldiers.
Yeah.
The free
Damn.
black people then went white missionaries and teachers staged a parade of 10,000 people. The procession was led by 3,000 black school children carrying armed load. I wonder if that was the very first time they had a parade. I'm gonna have to look into that too. We might
Wait,
have been
what
the
year
first
was
one.
this? 18
It's
what?
1865.
Damn, that is early on. Shit. Man,
We might have been the first people to start parades, but I don't know because
I
Iris
mean,
might have.
I'm sure we had something to do with it. I'm positive we did.
Yeah,
But damn, that's some good. That's some crazy. Why don't we know this? And why don't we get this information in school? If school is meant to really educate, why don't we know the origin of motherfucking Memorial Day? Why don't we know
because you know why? Because we started it, and they don't want to tell that.
they don't want to tell that we started the shit? That's
We
crazy.
started Memorial Day, and they don't want to tell it. That's what it
That's
boils down to. Because if it was something that they started, you can believe it would have been in the history books, social studies,
right,
something.
right.
That's crazy. I all this time, I never
Yeah,
knew that it was
man.
started by freed black slaves.
I had no idea, bro. I had no idea at all. That's crazy. That's good to know, though. That's good to know.
Yeah, that was. I'm gonna start trying to do a little segment like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely some news you can use with that.
yeah, with our history start. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a
You know
lot.
what I'm
That's what's
saying?
getting lost is our history. And
Yeah,
if we know more about who we were, a lot of the things that we've done, then hey,
yeah.
we might change our mentality about ourselves.
I don't. Do you think that matters to the youth? Because that's who matters. Like the only way we gonna change.
They don't know. Oh man,
Does it
look,
matter that they know?
they I don't know about on YouTube. YouTube got a different engagement. You know what I'm saying? Once we start doing TikTok, also, you're gonna see the difference. And it's young people that's why I be saying the stuff that I say because I see it totally different from other crowds. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And it's like that's what they want. They want to learn who they are, but they don't want no bullshit. And that's the
yeah.
difference.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Just like another one about our history. This one is a new segment I wanted to introduce, and it's called Black People Did What? You know what I'm saying? And it's talking about like our history and things like that, sort of like the origin of Memorial Day.
Yeah,
And so this is Dr. Dorothy Jean Tillman the second. She got her doctorate at 17. Check this
yeah,
out. So she was a 17-year-old from Chicago. She made national headlines by earning her doctorate in integrated behavioral health from
yeah,
Arizona State University, becoming one of the youngest people in the country to achieve such a distinction. Tillman began her academic journey at an early age, enrolling in college courses at just 10 years old.
mm,
By age 12, she had already earned an associate degree in psychology from the College of Lake County, followed by a bachelor's degree in humanities from Excelsior College. She
mm.
continued on to earn a master's degree in environmental science and sustainable engineering from Unity College in 2021. So this is recent. This ain't like
Yeah.
ancient history. This just happened.
Nah, yeah.
In 2021, she entered the doctoral program at Arizona State University, completing it by the age of 17.
Yeah.
She is believed
Man.
to be the youngest person to earn a doctorate from Arizona State University and likely one of the youngest nationwide to do so in her field. Beyond academics, Tillman is the founder and CEO of Dorothy Genius STEAM Leadership Institute, a program dedicated to advancing youth education in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Through her organization, she works to create opportunities for young people to explore innovation and leadership. Another one. Why don't these type of stories get celebrated? Why is it this shared? Why is it this? You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
if it
yeah.
was some shit that she was shaking her ass on a video or something, it'd be viral.
It'd be viral. Yeah. Well, first off, I just want to take some time.
Man,
Black woman, God damn it,
man, that is
because
that is a
I was
that's an accomplishment or a life story that gotta be shared.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to
So
do
two things.
a solo video about that one with
Yeah,
for
yeah.
TikTok.
Two things with this though. Two things. Cause I went and did some research on that topic on this young lady. One number one, the
Right.
she was homeschooled. She wasn't learning in school. She
We
didn't like how she was being taught in school, and she went to her mom and said, "Hey, this school is a problem for me right now. Can we do
yeah.
something?" Her mama homeschooled her, and she shot through the roof and started doing shit like this. So these are two things that we was just talking about. The
Yep.
mindset. We got to start pushing young men. Like we got to start pushing the young men like we push the young women.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what that is with black women who they'll coddle their young boys to, and they'll turn out not to be shit and not have
Because
any ambition,
you know
but then
why?
they'll push the little girls and say, "You got to get out of my house and you got to achieve X, Y, Z and don't depend on no man and all this." Like
Because
we
those
fucking
young
up our
mothers are
community.
making the boys take the place of they men that they think that they supposed to have. That's the
You,
difference. And then the girl, she's forced, she's not getting the same amount of as attention as the boy is getting. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
she's forced to do excel in other areas. And that's what
right.
it becomes. I now that I've seen personally. That's why I
Yeah,
can, I kind of
like
see.
the young girls, like it's like almost even like a they're doing it out of survival because they mama don't like them or some type of competition even or some
Yes.
crazy shit like that. So it's
Yep.
like a animosity with the daughter, but then it's a weird type of son husband thing with the son. So yeah, I don't want to default to blaming black women because black men
No,
have a part too.
because that's why I always, bring men into it too. Because
Yeah,
one thing I noticed about kids is when the daddy in their life, they a totally different child.
right. So at what point like do we okay, it just if we notice, like at what point do we? Because I've seen this study, and I think everybody at this point has seen this study where it's like when it comes to single father households and father mother households, the child is typically on the path for success. But it just seems like with single mother households, it seems to be the worst product. And it's like, at what point do we acknowledge this and our women go above and beyond to make sure that at least if you're gonna deal with this type of man, like I don't know, bro. Because it can always be pointed. The finger can always be pointed back at the men as well,
Yeah,
and you gotta
I
acknowledge
agree.
that. But damn, bro, it's like what are the ladies doing to where they are the only demographic that's producing this type of product? Like that's showing the accountability piece not being evenly spread across. If single men are on their shit and couples with men and women, the common denominator being the man, at some point, if the women are the sole outlier as the issue, we gotta address that, and it can't just always simply be well the man got to be around because women have their own choice now. They don't have
Yeah,
to be with somebody that they don't want to be with,
yeah,
and they can take the child and say, "Well, I'm the mama." We all know default in the court system is gonna get a child to the mama. So at some point, I don't
speak
know.
speak speaking of, that brought me to this next topic. Now, this kind of pissed me off when not kind of, it did because I got two daughters that around that age. So it was a black lady that posted that her 13-year-old daughter was mad at her because she wouldn't take her to get another abortion after she already done had multiple. It just goes back to saying what you just, I mean, it goes back to what you just said. Can't hear who? Who you can't hear? They can't hear you?
They can't hear me.
Somebody said we can't hear him. Uh,
You can hear me though, right? So
yeah,
I
I
don't
can hear
know.
you. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
That's kind of odd.
We'll keep
But
going until somebody else say something. I don't know.
uh, this right here, man, it just it's sad. It's a sad situation. But
Yeah,
because for one, why is she having sex at 13 anyway? Why are you approving of it? And how is the hell is all of this going on and allowed? It just goes back to show. And this was one thing that I used to have a problem with my baby mama.
yeah,
They try to be their daughter's friend,
right,
and that
right,
be the instead of being the parent.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
once that don't work, just like how they fall out with their friends, they fall out with
They
their
fall out
daughter.
with their kids. Yeah, yeah,
And then that's why she gets alienated and they turn towards the son and they coddle him because of that fallout and how they feel that animosity towards their own daughter. And that be the
yeah.
difference.
So at some
That's
point, bro, at some point, and that's some crazy shit. Like the fact that you already one is more than enough at by that age. One is more than enough. But the fact that it's happening again, I really want to see what that mama look and act like. That I bet that's the answer right there.
that's of course. I mean, you can hear it
I
from
bet,
her voice from behind the video. She never put herself on screen. She just had her daughter on the camera
but
from
I
the
bet she
video
was
I
talking
saw.
shit just on some ignorant.
Yeah.
You
And
know what I mean? Yeah,
you can tell what her mentality is. You know what I'm saying? To me,
right.
but it just goes to
No
show the
accountability.
difference and they don't think with logic because there's no way. Well, where's her wherever her father is, he out. And this is the thing too, because another thing that I can't stand is when women try to make it seem like all these fathers are deadbeat dads, but they not taking accountability as using the kids
Yeah,
as weapons and not
that's
letting
a
the father
old.
be in their life.
That's an old mindset. That's an old narrative that black men, and I gotta applaud us. I don't have kids myself, but black men really worked our ass off to change that narrative
Joe
from back
did.
in the 80s and the 70s of being deadbeat daddies. We are the best fathers in period.
Yeah.
Under any demographic, anything, we are the best fathers. We are the most active fathers. Man, look. So you can't tell me shit about black
You
dudes
know,
who
they
suck on their father.
that's a trope that was started in the 90s when they were actually taking the fathers out of the house, out of the household. So they started that stereotype. But what they
Right.
fail to realize is our generation was the ones whose fathers y'all was taking out the household. So what we gonna do the opposite. We was in
We didn't
every
have no
black
choice.
dude that I know that got kids is in their kids' life, whether they with the baby mama or not.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, and if it is some, I don't fuck with them because I don't hang around
At
dudes like
all. That changed. Like when I was young, I would hear stuff like that a lot though. So I won't just say it was just simply a narrative. It was a such thing.
that.
But
I know. I'm saying, but it was
man,
started from the 90s when they started taking them out, for the drugs. The 80s was
I
in the
would
drug.
say, yeah, I would say the '80s. But yeah, I agree with you on that. And man, like I can remember just being in like middle school and getting into high school, like the conversations young dudes would have. Like we wasn't our age group, our generation wasn't with none of that. Like
Nah.
most of us had to help our mamas raise kids.
Mhm.
So we already kind of knew what that was. So nah, that narrative been changed. It's unfortunately it's the women now that's out of control, bro. They
That's
out
what
of
it is.
control left and right, and nobody can tell them shit, and you can't say nothing to them.
No, but it's because there's so many now that's like-minded with that same type of mentality, and that's what has become the problem. Because it makes them feel like they don't have to take accountability if they got other people that are agreeing with them on their little cause or whatever.
Yeah, and they get rewarded. They get rewarded by the negative behavior.
Yeah, because all they got to
They
do is take you to court.
There's no consequence whatsoever for anything they do. There's no consequence for anything. So
They need to
I
start
don't.
making
I mean,
some of these mothers pay child support more. I guarantee you a lot of this shit would change.
yeah. I mean, and some do. Like that happens more and more. Because I did see somewhere where because of the demographics changing of women earning more, and stuff like that, there are more cases where, women pay child support to the man. But
Yeah.
it's not changing fast enough. And I think that shouldn't be the goal, though. The goal should be if you're dealing with somebody, if you're having a child with somebody, that's who you should be sticking with.
You should try to raise up your kids in a two-parent household. That's what we need more of. Because it's that balance that the kid needs. You need that masculine balance and the feminine at the same time. Right.
And have be able to tap into some emotion, but it ain't really all that necessary to function in life, for real, for real.
Especially
And
if you're dealing with business. You know what I'm saying?
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
And that's where we lack, and that's a lot of our problem. We are too compassionate in some, in some instances.
yeah, we get raised by our mothers.
Yeah. Well, bro, time for our next segment.
What we got,
Uh
bro?
Pass the outs. Tonight,
Oh yeah.
tonight we got a good one tonight. We got T.I.
Oh
versus Boosie. Now,
man, shit.
this gonna be tough. It's gonna
This
be
is gonna.
tough. I
That's
don't
another
know.
one of the ones, bro.
Both of them got some bangers on each side. It's
Got some bangers. Got some bangers. But I will say, I'm gonna just be honest up front. Mo, me personally, most of the people where I'm from, we own that Boosie real heavy. Ti was cool, but and you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna give him a fair shot. I'm gonna give him a fair shake.
it
You
it,
feel
it
me?
was it was where I was from. It was mixed because Louisiana was so close to Arkansas.
You
So
you was right there.
yeah, so
You
you
right
gotta
there.
like we got everything of Boosie.
Yeah.
But also, like
Y'all got
even the
Boosie
shit that a lot of
overload.
other people didn't hear, we got to hear
Yeah.
that shit because it would come
Yeah.
straight
Yeah.
up, from Baton
Right.
Rouge, Shreveport. Nah, that shit was right there with us. So
Right. Right. Right.
first
Right.
off, we got "Bring 'Em Out" from Ti. Bring 'em out,
Yeah.
bring 'em out.
Bring
It's hard to yeah
yeah.
when the berry is.
Their
Then you
brands in
got
their mouth.
you got Zoom from Boosie. Everybody likes Zoom. Zoo,
Mm,
zoo, zoo. I told you we're gonna start off with a banger.
I
Bring 'em
I
out. Had the Jay
off
Z.
off the flip. Off the flip, it's gonna be Boosie for me. I ain't even gotta waste no time. Zoom was that
Mm-mm.
shit.
Look, look, look. Zoom
Zoom
was
was that
straight.
shit.
Zoom was straight, but I think the only thing with Zoom, it only hit in its time. You know what I'm saying? Like if he came with Zoom right now, him and Young Jock, I don't think it would be as big of a hit as it did back then. That's why I
Ooh.
believe I'm gonna have to go with Bring 'Em Out on that one. What you think? You think if he came with Zoom right now, it would be number one like it was back then?
Nah. Both of those songs had a sound to them though. They both had an early 2000s sound to them. Maybe Bring 'Em Out had a little less of a specific, but yeah, I don't know if you can say that about Zoom. You can say that about Bring 'Em Out because still listen to Jay Z
I
for
don't
real.
know because the difference with me, I think Bring 'Em Out can fit more of today's time in as far as what he's saying. As far as with this younger generation, they'll still feel it if it was dropped today. The difference is I don't know if he'd be able to use Jay Z saying it because they don't really this younger generation don't really fuck with Jay Z like that. Like,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
so he would have to
Man,
have somebody else say that part, or I don't know. You got a point there. That'd
or
be the
just let
only
Swiss
part that
Beats
might
do it.
hurt it. But
If
I
he
would
just cut,
cut
if
it
he just
out.
cut Jay Z and let Swiss Beats do all of it, maybe.
Yeah. Now then it would be a yeah.
Yeah, I give you that one. I give you that one. Yeah.
We got Rubber Band Man
Rubber
versus
band, five in my
Bankroll.
left and nine in my right, 45 in my bankroll.
Bankroll.
Let me think. Hold on. Let me give me a second for that one, bro. Hold on. That's a little tougher. That's a little tougher for me. Oh,
Ooh, Rubber Band Man. Bankroll. Let me play a little bit of it just to see if it reminds you of how it went. Let's see, Boosie.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know I can't play too much of it. They hit us with
Yeah,
that
yeah,
strike.
yeah. Copyright. But
That was only about five
yeah,
seconds. She say Ti.
yeah. I'm gonna go
Ooh,
with that. I'm
yeah,
gonna I'm gonna go with that Ti on that one, bro.
Rubber Band Man. Yeah, yeah.
Rubber band man for sure. Yeah, that was man. That was wasn't that his first single, his first big single.
Was it
One of
Rubber
them.
Band or was it was it? No, I think it was Be Easy. The one where he played with the piano. That was on I'm
Yeah,
Serious.
yeah. That might have been the first kind of big one, but that really wasn't a
That was
real
his.
big smash like
Now his
that. I think
first big one, I think,
I think
was
it was
really
Rubber Band.
24s. Rubber
Okay, well
Band Man was big too, but that's the one that he had
they,
with
they was on the same album though, huh?
yeah, cause yeah, that's when he came with trap music.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go with yeah, definitely Rubber Band Man for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go with Rubber Band Man on that one.
And that
Okay.
video was tough.
Oh yeah,
That
we
video
got
was tough.
Swerve by Boosie,
Swerve on them. Hey, I'm listening.
and you got 24s by Ti. Now that's a tough one.
Swerve.
Ooh, Swerve. Let me
Nah, I gotta give it to Swerve Boosie on that one. That boy,
Swerve
that's
right, Swerve
yeah.
live.
That's
Yeah,
that's
I
a
don't know.
class.
I don't
That's
know
a
though.
class.
Money, hoe, cars and clothes. That's all my niggas know. I don't know, man. That motherfucker too though.
Nah, bro. I mean, it's hard. Don't get me wrong,
I'm
but
at.
nah, that's Swerve. Swerve
Ooh.
is like that's what you were saying as far as like Swerve is like he could put that out now and
I
it'll
was finna
still
say
go.
yeah.
Ti on the 24s, that's very 2004,
The
2003.
thing is, this generation don't really care about rims like we did.
Especially not the big like the people that you see with big rims is in their 30s and 40s. You know what I'm
They
saying?
our
Like
generation, they our age.
yeah,
The big
yeah. So
26s and these kids now
yeah,
they don't rock with that.
they
They
don't
ain't
care
really.
about none of that.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Swerve on that one. I'm gonna go with Boosie.
Definitely Swerve.
I'm gonna
Definitely
go with
Swerve.
Boosie on that one. We got
Yeah.
Whatever You Like, Ti. I said you
You
can
can
have
have
whatever you like. And then
yeah.
we got Gimme That by Boosie. Girl, give me that.
Give me that pussy.
Yeah,
Oh
give
my
me that. Yeah.
god.
Ooh. I
Hey,
see.
I'm sorry. Well, first of all, Webby took that shit over. I I fuck with Webby so heavy. I that
Webby really, yeah, Webby made that one the hit that it is.
Webby so underrated, bro. Man,
He
it's
was.
disrespect.
He
It's
was.
disrespect. But yeah, I gotta go with that. I gotta go with that. Give me that. Get that
Girl,
Boosie and that
give me
Webby.
that. I said you
And
can have whatever you like. Let me
can
see.
you
Let me
put
see.
can you put Webby and Boosie as like like a top duo of all time? Like, would you put like
Okay, so you
okay,
got to
real
me
quick,
top
real
two
quick?
duos. You got
Would you put them?
UGK.
Yeah, would you put them with UGK?
Nah,
No,
nah,
no.
not that level. Not that
Oh
level.
man,
UGK,
why not?
I would put them more on. I put them with A Ball and MJG. Not UGK though. That's a
You don't put A Ball and
no. I tell
MJG
you what, I
on
put them not I
UGK
take that's
level.
what I was finna say. I put them with Do or Die. Boosie and Webby more on Do or Die level.
Okay, I got okay. All right, okay.
'Cause
No,
I can't put them on UGK level, bro. That is a
why not?
because
Why?
they the goats of groups, duos. They the go to duo. Who you gonna put over who I mean, would you put Boosie and Webby over Jay-Z and Kanye?
Personally, if I'm listening to my own playlist, yeah, shit, yeah.
Well, yeah, you're a
But
Boosie fan.
but I mean, when it comes to success and the quality of the record, nah, you give it to Jay Z and Kanye. But if I'm just personally wanting to listen to music, then I'm putting Boosie and Webby over almost anybody as a group,
Oh,
almost.
no, I
Like
can't put them.
like
I can't put
I'll
them in the
Outcast.
top. That's
I'll put them right under Outkast, UGK, and A Ball MJG.
I don't know if they
Them the
there.
only ones I could really definitively say, I'll give them a little bit. But even then, bro, Boosie and Webby, they run been going for so long, bro. Like they came with all the classics for our era, for real. Like not all of them, but a lot of them.
They
And their
didn't, but it
music was
wasn't that.
better.
They had a
Their
short
music was
run though.
cool.
Boosie and Webby didn't last that long, and then they kind of went
Nah,
solo.
I mean they was never a group. They was never a
Didn't they
group.
like? Didn't they fall out at one point?
No, I don't think so. I think it was something that they wasn't around each other. But
Yeah, I remember
they
something
kind of
like
low
that.
key addressed it, and I always said that it wasn't really no issue. But they was never officially a group though. That's what you also got to factor in. Like Outkast was a group. A Ball, MJG, UGK, those were actual groups. Boosie and
Yeah,
Weber was never really a group. They just sound real good together.
yeah, they
So
just linked up on
you
songs.
know, I don't
All
know,
right,
bro.
I'm gonna go with. Mm, give me that. That was yeah. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to go with give me that. That one was that's tough.
You know how many
Ooh.
dances I got off that song?
That's what I'm saying. Like that song did a lot of things for you back in the day.
Man, that's when the school dances and the twerking and shit was live, bro.
Yeah,
That
when they
shit was
see
live.
they used to let us actually, you didn't have to stand 3 feet apart. It was different back then.
Yeah,
You didn't have to do
yeah,
all that.
yeah.
We got what you know about that, what you know
What
what
you know about that?
we got Mind of a Maniac. Welcome to the Mind of a Maniac.
A
Street
street
nigga,
nigga.
street
Yeah.
nigga. You ain't got no mind. Ooh.
Yeah.
What you
Damn, that's
know about that?
uh,
What you know?
what you know about it. Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
just
go
hit
with
me.
that T.I. I'm gonna go
And
with that T.I.
where
on that.
that flap sack
Yeah.
where I'm holding all the work at. What
Word,
you know
yeah,
about?
yeah.
Yeah, that
I gotta
TIJL.
go with that one.
She said Boosie. Ooh. She said
That
Boosie.
Mind of a Maniac was a good one.
Ooh, that's
I ain't gonna
tough.
sleep on that one. That
Mind
Mind
of
of
a
a Maniac was
maniac.
tough.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I gotta go with that Ti on that one, bro. I like
That's
that one too.
tough. Ooh. Let me see. Yeah, oh shit. I might have to go with that what you know. That's just cause that's more of a personal one. I like that.
Yeah,
That was my
yeah,
shit when it came out.
yeah, yeah.
Don't you know I got key by the three when I chirp shot. And you remember we had them chirp phones back then. Them
Boy,
no
them
kids came.
motherfucking chirps, bro. Them chirps
Bro,
was the
boy,
shit. I got
boy.
kicked out of class so many times for that loud ass chirp.
Where you at? Like, damn, you
What
be in
you
the middle
doing,
of something. You
fool?
can't
I
stop the
thought
church
I was
from
loud
coming
as
through.
fuck.
That mo-
Yeah, you can't stop it from coming through. Hell no.
All
Yeah,
right,
man, that was
we got top back, uh, uh, and we
bad.
got wipe me down.
Why? Do we even gotta
Ooh.
go any further? Do we even gotta say it? Do we even gotta say it, bro? Come on now.
I like
Come
my
on now.
beat down low, down low, down low.
Nah,
I like my top let back,
that one is
let back.
cool.
I don't
That
know, man. That's
that one's
dumb.
cool. That's cool.
But then you
That's
got
cool. White
shoulders,
man,
chest,
come
pants,
on,
shoes,
man.
shoulders, shit. Yeah, that's the that's a hard one. I'm
Wipe
gonna
me
go
down
wipe
is
me
an
down on that
anthem.
one.
Wipe me down is a black national anthem. You hear me?
Yeah.
That's
Ooh,
a
that's a tough
national
one.
anthem, bro. Nah, they still play that in uh uh what's that called? Like the HBCU games and stuff like that. Like they still play all them and surf
Yeah.
and you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
flag surf. Man, look, yeah, that Boosie is just
Yeah, I'm gonna go wipe me down. That one. I mean, and this is the thing. We was out when it actually dropped, like when it was at its height. Do you
when it was in
remember
the
the club?
club. Oh,
Whoo,
nigga. When this
boy.
shit came on the club, bro, it's up. It's up for like the next 30 minutes straight. Everybody
Yeah,
is up.
cause they ain't finna
So
play it
yeah,
just once. They gonna back to
yeah.
back it.
Boy, look. When that club, and that's before, you know what I'm saying, like you said, like back then we wasn't worried thinking about no distancing shit or nothing like that. The club was cracking.
Nah,
So
and
yeah,
see, we didn't go to the club and to the parties to sit down and stand on the wall and shit. We actually went and danced and enjoyed
yeah,
ourselves.
yeah,
That,
for real.
now you go to the club, everybody just like this
Yeah. It
on the
seemed it
phone.
seemed like, you know, when I stopped going to the club when I noticed that niggas wasn't even going to get on no females no more. They were just standing over in the side looking at other niggas.
Yeah.
It's time for me to go home. Fuck all that. Niggas just come to fight. No, and shoot.
Yep.
No. It's time to go. That's just
It's
when I know I got too old for this shit.
a different atmosphere now.
Yeah.
All right, we got ASAP, ASAP, ASAP. We got
Yeah.
going through some things. I've been going through some things. Ooh.
Yeah, that's I like that Boosie one. I like that one, but
I've
hold
been
on, let
going
me.
through some things. Let me see.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with ASAP on that one. I'm gonna have to go with ASAP. That one right
you
there.
said Boosie.
Boosie. Ooh. Going through. She must be a Boosie fan too.
I'm telling you, bro, that Boosie is tough, bro. In the hood,
I
Boosie is
know it.
it. Ti
That's
really
why I knew
wasn't
this was
all
gonna
that
be a
nowhere
tough one.
other than Atlanta. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I gotta go with that Boosie. I gotta go with that
Ooh,
Boosie
going through
on
some
that one.
things.
I've been going through
ASAP.
some things. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta go with that Boosie on that one.
I gotta
ASAP
go.
is a good one. I'll slap that one, but you know what I'm saying? That Boosie, I didn't, you know, been through some things. Listen to, I'm going through some things. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I gotta give that edge to that one. Not by much, but I'll give him that one.
All right, we got Motivation by Ti. You
Mm.
know that one was a
Yeah, it's
motivation. Yeah, that was a classic. Let me. I gotta hear that one right quick. Hold on.
yeah, that one's
Just a
tough,
little bit
bro.
of it.
That one's tough. That motivation's tough.
That mug. Body on top. Any rapper but cheap. I beat. We're back to
Yeah.
reality, G. I don't know. Now we got Boosie, crazy.
Is that the one with That's the one
They
with
say that I'm
hold on,
crazy, but sometimes I feel like I'm crazy.
crazy. Yeah,
But I know I'm
yeah.
not crazy. Boy, I used to jam that motherfucker all the
That's
time.
yeah.
That
I gotta
beat,
go with that crazy. I gotta go
ooh,
with that
I
crazy.
don't know, over motivation.
Yeah, yeah,
Ooh, you say crazy. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, me too.
Man,
And only,
only because I can remember when that like only because it's the beat. Like if you subscribe to having some speakers in your trunk and you like shit that knock, that crazy thumps so fucking hard, bro.
it's
Yeah,
the way that he did it when he dropped it after he had already started rapping, then he brought it in with him rapping. That yeah, crazy was
man, that shit thumps so hard.
I'm a
So only because of the beat, only because if you got some 12, a 15 back in the back, man, that shit thumps so hard, bro. That I just gotta give it to that one because I'm just that type of nigga, bro. So I gotta give it to
Ooh,
him. I gotta give it to him on
that's a
that one.
tough one. I'm gonna have to oh shit, let me see. Cause I can just remember like motivation was it was a classic, just
Yeah,
like kind of like wipe me down in his own sense because of what everybody that felt like they had haters back then. Remember, and that motivation was your song that you listen to every morning when you first wake up.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you can still probably drop that right now. Ti drop that right now. That shit
It
would be
yeah
classic.
yeah
So I
yeah.
give him that. I don't wanna take away from
Ooh.
that because that's definitely a classic. But that motherfucking crazy now
Let me
and
say
right now Boosie couldn't drop crazy right now and that being classic because of where he's at in his life. He couldn't drop that right now. Boosie ain't crazy no more. He know better now. Nigga, he
yeah
old as shit. He got
yeah
kidney problems and all type of shit.
yeah.
You better go and
Said I
sit in
pistol
Boosie
whipped
estate.
that nigga for 40
40
minutes straight.
minutes. Come on,
Nigga
man.
straight.
Where my shit? Fuck up your face. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Nah, yeah,
Yeah,
that crazy stuff.
I'm gonna have to go with motivation on that one though. That's I mean, even though
Stop it.
crazy is my shit, I gotta go with motivation.
I give
That
you
was
that
the
one. I give you
uh
that
we got big shit popping,
big shit popping and little shit
little shit
stopping.
dropping, hey shit
Yeah.
popping and little shit. And we got set it off. Set it when that came on in the club,
Man, that's god
that's
damn,
tough. That's
bro.
a tough one. Big shit
That's
popping and set it off.
that's probably the hardest one out of all of them up to this point, bro. Give me a second. Damn it.
She say Boosie. Oh, she say set it out. Yeah, I'm gonna have
You
to go with
answered. No, hold on. She answered way too quick. No,
that was quick.
you answered way too quick.
That was
And you
quick.
in the chat, that took you a while to type that. No, no, you can't answer that one that fast. You got to give Ti some respect on on that one.
She's just a
Um,
Boosie fan, you can tell.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I'm gonna have to agree with her on that one. I'm gonna take set it off. Maybe because I was just listening to it the other day, but and it's still more recent in my memory, but set it off. And this was crazy. I was playing it and I pulled up to a light. And the people that was on the side of me, they started jamming too to it. They was like, "Oh, that's that Boosie." I'm like, "Oh shit,
yeah,
Boosie still do that." And they were
yeah,
young.
yeah. Boosie still do that. Boosie got more of that influence even to this day more than Ti do.
Yeah, because Ti done went to comedy now.
Yeah,
He doing
yeah.
stand up comedy,
His
and
whole
this
his
generation
whole
don't see the Ti that we. They don't see Tip. They
right.
see Ti. They don't get to see Tip no more.
They got the old Ti who you know. I mean,
Yeah,
but Boosie just stayed focused on his fan base and what his fan base particularly goes for. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? He stay in the streets a little more. Ti
yeah,
he more corporate now. You
yeah,
know, and like
yeah.
you said,
He is.
he went to comedy more so too. So you know, he not Boosie still got that ratchet. He still got that ratchet with him. You know what I'm saying? Ti always, you know, Ti because he was from the hood and all that, but his vernacular and all that shit type kind of lose people a little bit. So you know,
Yeah,
Boosie he still
yeah.
got them.
That's true.
Boosie still got the hood rats with him. So as long as he
Yeah,
got them going, it's up for him. So man,
that's a tough one.
yeah,
Big shit
ah
popping and little shit stopping. Hey, shit popping and little shit
man,
stopping.
I gotta go with that Ti on that one. I
Ooh,
it's close. It's tough. It's tough, but yeah, I'm gonna give him a nod on that one.
damn! I had to go with Boosie on that one. Set it
Yeah.
off. Set it off. Yeah, yeah. That's
I know
tough.
some people probably gonna be mad at me too. Like, nigga, what
That's
are you
tough.
talking about? But yeah,
We
I'm sorry.
got last one. We got About the Money, T.I. If it ain't about the money, don't be.
Mm,
When it
yeah.
ain't about the. That was him and Young Thug, I believe.
Yeah, yeah,
Nobody knew
yeah.
what Young Thug was saying. Even T.I. didn't know.
Man,
They asked him. You see
hey,
that video where
actually,
they asked T.I.? He was like, I don't know. It just sounded good.
I didn't see that. But I will say this, because I'm not a Young Thug fan at all. I can't stand that nigga voice. But
Nah,
that's one of the one features that I could tolerate him listening to him on.
he. I'm gonna give him this. He
He
wrecked on
flowed
that
with the
one.
beat. He flowed with the beat well enough to be
Yeah.
okay. As long as he wasn't trying to really rap, he was just kind of, coming with his little melody and weird little noises. Long as it flowed with the beat enough to get through his part, I'm cool.
So we
So,
we got
shit.
About the Money and Boosie, Better Believe It, featuring Jeezy. You better believe
Oh,
it. You better
yeah.
believe it.
That ain't even
Ooh,
close. That ain't even
I don't
close.
know.
Boosie and Jeezy? No, 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 no. Just because Young Thug ruined the damn song for his little part.
She said,
Just
T.I.,
because
that's my
Young Thug.
shit. What?
Now I'm sick
If
of
it ain't
her.
about the money.
How she picking everything against me? I don't give a fuck.
Whatever you say, she say the opposite.
She say the opposite. But yeah, bro, I gotta go with that Boosie and Jeezy. They got a couple
Ooh,
bangers.
that's a tough one for
What
me.
what's the other one they got together? They got another one that's real dope.
Boosie and Jeezy.
I can't think. I can't think of it right now.
I can't think of it either. I know what you're talking about though. But I think
Yeah,
that one
yeah.
was Jeezy featuring Boosie, right?
Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
With this one, shit. I'm gonna have to go with Ain't About the Money.
I'm sick of y'all, bro. I'm
I'm gonna have
sick
to
of
go with that one,
y'all.
bro. I'm just sitting. I had them both going in my head, and it's like, woo, it's tough. Cause Jeezy wrecked that part too. But to me, Young Thug flowing on the way he did on that beat, cause that's his best verse. I ain't really heard none of his music, but what I've
Yeah.
heard from him, that's the best verse I've heard him do as far as a feature. Look at you too.
He got one. He got one though. Young Thug got one with Nipsey Hussle that I like. That's the only one that he's actually good at. That his verse is actually good. But with that one, I mean, that was his second best verse, but it's still not better than nothing Jeezy got going. Like if you put Young Thug and Jeezy head to head, I'm not listening to Young Thug, bro.
Oh no, hell no,
So just
no.
so just based on
That's different.
I got I got two solid artists that I rock with versus one and this nigga singing and squealing and doing whatever he doing. No.
He said squealing.
Whatever you want to call that shit, bro. Whatever you want to
Well,
call it.
bro, that's all I got tonight for the show. Um, I didn't do the
The
uh
classic
classic or
or
just average tonight.
yeah.
I wanted to say a couple of those for Wednesday because I had some really good movies, and I didn't want to.
Okay.
I didn't want to start running out of them. You know what I'm saying? Because once we actually start getting this other software, we're gonna be able to do them more detailed because we had the
Right,
actual
right,
movies and the actual
right,
songs that we able to use. So
right,
it'll be a little
right.
different then. So I kind of had
Okay,
that one,
cool.
and I
Yeah,
introduced the
yeah,
other
yeah.
one. But
Okay, bet.
yeah, that's all I got for tonight. You want to tell them how to follow you, where to follow you at?
Man, Ezyduhzit on all platforms, man. Follow me on Eric Ransberg on Facebook. Ezyduhzit on what's that? Twitter. I'm on Twitter now. I got my TikTok on. I got my Instagram. All that going. So slowly but surely, but yeah, Ezyduhzit on all platforms, man. Follow me, Tyler.
You can follow the Black Club on all platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you Apple, Spotify. If you listen to just the podcast, we there too. We've recently just hit 17,300 subscribers on YouTube, so that's a pretty good
Hey,
accomplishment.
okay. Hey, all
Yeah,
right.
but I don't see why hell it ain't at least 7,000 in here, or at least 1,000. That's what I don't get about the algorithm with YouTube. We got
Yeah.
all these subscribers, but they don't really see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
YouTube don't push you the same way. Now, if this was TikTok and I got like 26,000 over there, right?
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of them would see it, or at least at some point, because it shows them when you live. Like
Right,
YouTube
right,
shit is
right.
weird. You have to really
Yeah.
just send it to people for them to
Or
see it.
and you got to send it to people, and because you got to personally put on your little notification bell and shit like that and all that
All
for
that
you
for
to be
YouTube.
notified.
Yeah.
Right. So it's less likely that the people on YouTube is going, unless they waiting for it. Like some of them do. It's less likely that they gonna see it and then tune in just because they saw it come up.
Yeah.
Because of how it alerts you. So, but man, we gonna get there. It is what it is
Yeah.
for now.
We just, show by show. We take it our time.
For sure.
But appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll be back Wednesday. They got to turn on the notification. Make sure y'all subscribe if you haven't. Like this, share this, and like Marissa said, turn on your notifications so you'll be
Got no
notified when we
notification.
do go live.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see y'all Wednesday, same time, same place.
All right.